Hello, everyone. I think we're live. Came so close to not being live tonight. Oh my gosh. This camera did not want to work with OBS. It was a whole thing. I've spent the last hour fighting, and I didn't get a nap today because UPS dropped my invertebrates. I got a bunch of new snails and crabs for my reef tank. They're in quarantine. They came super late. I'm running on no sleep for many reasons. It's been a day. Nothing major, just like stupid little annoying things. So yeah, that has been, we'll see how this goes. It's also going to be interesting because French Fry here has recently decided he loves hanging out with me and he'll continuously bite me to get bites of pistachio. So super chats, get him a bite of pistachio if he happens to be on my shoulder at the time. But that he is visiting tonight. Well, I'm actually curious to see if he chatters the whole night. Oh, my microphone is hiding under here. Hold on. It might be better if I move it. No, don't you bite that. So anyway, tonight I'm going to be critiquing your videos, or not your video. See, my brain is already gone. It's going to be a night. An hour of tech stuff is no fun. I'm going to be critiquing your artwork. For those of you who are over on Patreon, I invited you to send your work to me. And as always with these critiques, it's art. There's no right or wrong way. My opinion is my opinion. These are just my bits of advice and my tips that I would give to my students if I were teaching in person. So hopefully you'll be able to take some of these tips. Even if I'm not critiquing your painting tonight, you should be able to take those tips and apply it to your own work. Okay, let's see. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's switch over. Let's see. There we go. Let's go ahead. Yes, they are My Little Ponies in the background. Why are you biting my shirt? Yeah, I have, let's see. Can I move? You can see my case. Well, sort of. You can see I have a case full of the retro ponies that came out a few years ago, like 6 years ago. Target and Walmart, everywhere had the retro ones that are from when I was a kid. So yes, I definitely bought all of the ones that me or my friends had as a kid, or ones I wish I had had at the time. Okay, so let's go ahead, and it'll be weird for me switching cameras because I'm not used to live streaming in here. Also, there could be an issue because my computer's kind of out of memory. So I don't know if I'm going to run into issues there. Probably. Given today, yes, I will. So let's go ahead. Which camera? There we go. And we've got, let's pull up Photoshop. And I need to pull in, let's see, I already saved those. Let's go ahead and open. First, I will pull these over. So I've got our reference photo and the artwork. There is somebody's watermark on that reference photo. I really hope you had permission to use it. Okay. Let's see. This is from Audrey, who says, "Hi, Lisa. This is an 18 by 24 inch oils that I painted using the reference photo by Lisa Meyer-Swanson." Oh, you gave her credit. So I'm going to assume she gave you credit, hopefully. "I changed the hummingbird so you could see it better. My problem is no matter how hard I try, my paintings always turn out much more colorful than the real thing. I want them to turn out more realistic and not like a cartoon." Oh, that is actually a really common problem. This is oh, I'm excited. I like it. This is going to be such a good one to talk about. Ooh, also, let me see. Is my mouse? Let me know. Can you guys see my mouse moving around here? Because that will make it easier. So the first thing I'm going to address. Well, first off, this little cactus right here. Let's pull up something bright that you will see. Actually, let's be smart this time and put a layer. I always forget to do that, and then I regret my life choices. Layer, new. It's hard to do with this pen. Layer. This is what I will draw on. Okay, so this cactus here, let's change our pen size. Probably need to change the pen type. Gotta get it. I am not ready. But I'm not even mad about not being ready. Seriously, I've been fighting with things. I'm amazed we're here tonight. Okay, so let me shrink this down. All right. So I love how this guy stands out. Why does he stand out? Because what's back here and here, that's so dark. That makes him really stand out well. You could even pull that more, make it even more, like get that darker, and that'll make that bit of the cactus stand out. Now your drawing, I'm noticing too, is not as accurate as the reference photo. So a few things like the size-wise, this guy is really small compared to, look, if you look over here, that takes up a big chunk of the piece. So a few things I would probably adjust. What's happening is, see how everything back here, all of that looks exactly the same. You did amazing detail work. It's great, but it also all looks the same. If we look at our reference photo, and we're going to get into the color that you brought up in a moment here, but if we look at our reference photo, look at how it fades from, and I need a box, my always box, let's see, new, we'll go 5 by 5. That will work. So let me pull you down. We're going to do this so I can show, we can talk a lot about colors. I love doing these critiques because it makes it so easy with Photoshop to talk about these colors. Layer, new, fill layers, solid color. And you are going to have to come over here. Yeah, fine. Okay. So if we look at this cactus back here, I'm just looking at this one right up front. Look at how it fades. So we've got brown, we've got a dark green, we've got, well, lighter green, and we've got almost black for the base background. And then on top of that, we've got the light details. If we look at yours, you've got dark green and black. We're missing a mid-range. So we've got dark green, so you're very close there. Look how close that is. Good job. But our black could be a little bit darker and be a little bit more. Like your darkest dark is not that dark. So I would definitely go almost black, like really get that darker. And then we've got these lighter colors. When we get up closer to the flowers, we get into these orangey brown tones and some olive greens. We're missing all the in-betweens. So if we can get some more values, more colors, really, it's not even so much the values that are off there. That's going to make a big difference. Another thing I want to point out, if we look at the way the light is hitting here, that is just white as we can get it. But look at in here, how much darker that is. That is like mid to darker beige. Like it is not a light color there. So we need to do the same thing. If we look at yours, we've got bright yellow. It should be dark beige. And if we can use, and you can use Photoshop, you can use any photo editing tool you want, do what I'm doing here. It makes it really easy for you to judge, or a lot easier for you to judge the colors that you're going with or that your reference photo has. Like here, look at how bright that is. Again, we are white, as bright as you can get it to go. But in order for that to look that bright, what's next to it has to be super dark. Whereas yours, you played it safe. You went mid-range. So we've got white and then not that dark and then dark, but not as dark as what we have, you know, hype up that contrast between those. And you're really doing good with the details. So you can do this, no doubt. It's our values. We need to work more on the values, and that is what's going to make your stuff look more realistic. I see what you mean by it being more colorful, and that's mainly in the background. The background in the reference photo, blue-gray. How would I mix that? Black and white, and maybe a little bit, like a touch of blue to make it a cooler gray. Not much. It is really, it's all grays, whereas yours are blue, like straight. Oh, pretty teal. I like that color. But we're really dark. Now, you can do that. That actually can work on this, but when you're talking about your colors being too colorful, that is why you're using too much of the pure color, like the blue out of the tube, versus the actual color doesn't even have blue, like barely. Maybe purple more than blue, if anything. It's gray. It is gray. It needs to be gray. Just make it black and white, and that's going to be more what you're seeing in the reference photo. Now, let's come over to these flowers. Now, you're on Patreon, so watch the video that I put up last week, and then the one I'm doing. It's in acrylics, but you're going to be using the same techniques that I'm talking about there with getting the high contrast. I talk about it a lot in that video, and I'm working on, by the way, today's video. That was one of my other problems. I'm almost done with it, but that'll be up tomorrow for sure. If not late tonight, probably tomorrow, because it's got a process and it's long. But anyway, we talk a lot in that video over on Patreon about the contrast in the edges. Don't worry so much about trying to blend. You're doing a great job of blending. You don't have any lights. And look at the difference. Look at right in this area. And I'm not even going to blow this up. We don't need to blow it up. That's one of the things we talked about in that Patreon video. And I'm sorry, I know if you're not on Patreon, I'm trying to explain it so you understand too, but I just like earlier today was recording it where I was talking so much about this. But these areas are extremely well defined. Oops. Yeah, you're good. Okay. These areas look at these definite shapes of lights and where the color changes. It's harsh lines. Don't try to blend that. Look how harsh that really needs to be in order to get that look. And that is, the lighting in this photo is part of why this photograph is so amazing. The photographer's phenomenal, but that is just, it's the lighting. You played it safe. You made them all mid-range. You don't have any highlights in there. You've got you need some, this would still need to be a bit darker, but you've got like a great place to start from here and now pull in white. Like some of these, let's look at how bright the lightest areas of these flowers needs to be. It's not your colors, it's your values that we're running into here. So let's see, the lightest color, pretty much white. The darkest color, oh, I don't think any years go that dark. Look at how like bold these colors are. Then there's a huge variety over there. And like this flower, these groupings, oh God, grammar's already out the window for the night. This grouping is really, really dark compared to these ones on the outer edge, whereas if we look at yours, they're all exactly the same. Now yours are at a great place. I would continue working on this. If you have not varnished this painting, this is a great place to continue. I would say you're halfway done. You now go through with what you have and make those brights just pop. Make the darks darker, the brights brighter, and really define. Watch the video though for sure of the flowers because I'm showing you exactly how to like get those harsher highlights and such. But really make those stand out a lot more. That's going to make such a difference. If we look at yours, your brightest highlight is here, where it should be white. Look at the difference in that versus white that you should have. And then your darkest areas, you're kind of dark. You did good on some of the shadows, but I mean, for the most part, if we look at the majority of the flowers, it's all the same. I mean, value-wise, very little difference compared to what we see in the reference photo, and that's what's going to make a difference. The reason that your work will come out having a more cartoon feel, you're missing your brightest lights, you're missing your darkest darks. Now, you're getting some of the darkest darks in there. You're close, but you aren't even close on the brightest whites. Like, they need to be bright in order to get this effect. Now, coming over to the Hummingbird, make sure, like, that's a bit dark. Look at me just going the opposite. It's my opposite complaint. But you also still don't have those. Look how light we need the light coming through those wing feathers there. So you've got great detail. You hear Nugget, not Nugget, French fries. He's a baby bird. We want to get those brights in there a lot more. Another thing is that going back to the drawing we talked about earlier, I am guessing you freehanded this because it's not that accurate. I think your skill level, you need to be more like focused too on making your line drawing, your base drawing more accurate because you have the skill. If you just take right now, okay, let's back that up. I don't recommend redrawing this. Go ahead and paint from what you have. Paint over this to get your highlights. But next time, spend some more time tracing and getting it a little bit the drawing more accurate. And I see would you stop? I see what you mean about how you made the head more visible, but you still could have had the wings the same. You still could have had a lot of this closer. He's missing his feet. Stuff like that, little things we could spend more time on. And you're obviously very skilled at detail. So I have no doubt you can take this from being good to absolutely phenomenal. Sorry, did I move? Absolutely phenomenal by hyping up get those brights brighter. Dark's a little darker, but the brights brighter, that is going to make a huge, 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 huge difference in the work. Like, huge difference. Let's see. Oh, Yolanda's here. Yolanda Kimbrell, same Yolanda. Yeah. She's the one who we got Nugget and Chicken came from. So everyone thank Yolanda for breeding and raising the sweetest babies in the world. Not you, though, because she didn't have any babies when I got him. Huh. Ha, got you. Oh, you're going to bite me back for a kiss? Thank you. Okay. So let's go ahead. Okay, this is gorgeous. And I want to see you take this same one though and just make those highlights. Like even just doing that, oh, what a difference you would get in that. But watch the video that went up for last week, the wildflowers one and the one from today, once I finish it. I think if you watch those and then apply what I'm talking about in those videos here with that higher contrast and just being bold about it, and you can see me do it. I think it makes it easier because you can actually see me doing that and how it's drastic and it'll take what you have from good to phenomenal. Okay. But the colors being extra bright, that is a normal, like, that's pretty common. Tone it down. We have a tendency to use too much pure color and not neutralize it a little bit. So in your case, just black and white would have been that work there. You say peekaboo? Say peekaboo, baby bird. Okay, let's pull up our next one. I've got to save them. Peeka, peeka, peekaboo. Here we go. Next up is going to be Linda. Let me save these. You think so? Is that true? Yeah? You're probably going to hear me make way too many kissy noises today because I'm not a sociopath, and if my bird does it, I have to do it back. Only sociopaths can manage not to do it back to their bird, I'm telling you. Kind of like if a dog stretches and you have to say, oh, big stretch. Like, it's just required. These are the things that you have to do. Okay. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? And you guys are doing amazing with the flowers. I'm excited because I'm all obsessed with flowers right now. Okay, let's shrink you down a bit so we can put you side by side, or kind of. Peekaboo, peekaboo, baby bird. Okay, let's move those. Kind of small. We can make it bigger. Let's start with this and then we'll talk about that. So one of the first things I want to talk about is photographing on black paper. I haven't read what Linda says yet, but photographing on black paper is a pain, and it, no matter what, is going to require a decent amount of Photoshop or Lightroom to make it look as accurate as possible because it wants to reflect like crazy. So you have to be creative with where you take the photo, usually in a kind of darker setting, and then I have to use Lightroom to make it look as much like the original as possible, but very difficult to photograph. Okay, let's see what Linda says. So these are some flowers I took a picture of at my sister's funeral. Oh, I'm sorry, but also what an awesome way to remember those flowers. I wanted them to be beautiful in a realistic way. I made this for my great niece's wedding gift. Yes, her granddaughter. I used pastel pencils, pan pastels on light blue pastel matte paper. This is only my third pastel piece. Dang, you're doing good. It's an 8 by 10. I first did the yellow on the bottom like the picture, but it didn't look good. So, you singing? Yeah. It didn't look good, so I redid it in an all black background where can I make this better? This is a special piece. I want it to be the best I can make it. Oh, good. So you're still at a stage where you can make adjustments too. Your darks need to be way darker, but not everywhere. So, Teresa said, what's the blackest paper to work on? I don't know. I've not really tested that. I use Inktense and MeWe, and it's pretty dark, but, going into this one, some of the things that I would like to see, like depending on how accurate you want it to be, this area, and oh, let's be smart and make a new layer. Nope, just new layer. Are you singing? That song is the screwed up version of Game of Thrones. Chicken made his own version of it and then taught it to everybody else. That's what he's doing right now. Does not sound like Game of Thrones though, does it? Yeah. Okay. There we got my layer. Okay, I want to see this area here way darker. Let's go to a different color. Something little stand out. Green. That is going to be terrible. Baby bird. Okay, this area in here, these darks, I want to see those way darker, but in this zone. And then as you get out here, can you lighten some of this up? You've got this even amount of darks right now. The darks here and the darks here are exactly the same, and it shouldn't be. And so what's happening is the entire flower is flattened out because your lights and the darks are the same in the entire thing, where really you want this definite, I mean, look here. Let's pull up our color chart. I didn't think he'd sit with me the whole night. This is new for him. Once he realized I was the pistachio giver, he wants to hang out all the time. Okay, so yeah, that'll work. If we look at the darkest darks, look how dark burgundy, but we can even go darker. On the artwork, I would punch that up and make it even darker than that. Like go really, really dark. deep dark. Black with burgundy is good. And then yours right now, we're kind of a gray, more muted. We're not that dark. But then as we get up here, there's like our brightest highlights are a brighter pink. These are our two, bright, mid-range. Whereas yours are still the bright. It's like it's all kind of the same. You've got 3 tones, which I always recommend. Use at least 3. But it's not, this section just needs to be way, look how light that is. And then we've got this row where it's way darker. Get those shadows in there, and that's going to help this to look much more realistic. You've got white all in here. There's no white on that flower at all. There should not be any white. This flower has white. This one has white. This one does not. And because we've got an even amount of white, our lights, mid-range, dark, mid-range, light, the same from this side all the way to this side, it just flattens that flower out, so it doesn't give you that realistic look that you're going for. So that would be one thing. The other is you pull some more reds in there. So you do have some of that tone of pink, but if you want it to look more like that flower, look how much more of a, like they're more coral kind of reds, like red. Get some of those in there too. And that's going to also help it stand out from this one more. This one is so good. I would still, you can get away with darkening here a little bit, but not much. I would probably make the darkest values like in here a little bit darker. Look how dark you can go, like dark. So darken that up quite a bit. Because right now, especially when you've got a black background, then your deeper shadows have to be that much darker. We have a super chat from Nick, which means you get a treat. You don't know about those yet. You get a pistachio treat. You want a bite? You want that? You can take a bite. Today, he's been stealing the entire pistachio. He's very tiny, so he does not need an entire pistachio. I was chasing him around the room. Take a bite. Say thank you to Nick. I think he's just trying to shut you up. Take the bite. So what he's doing right now, he can take a quick bite easily. Oh, you didn't get it. I think it fell. He can take a quick bite easily, but he's figured out as soon as he takes a bite, I take the pistachio away. So now he keeps his beak on it and tries to munch off as much as possible and store it. So when I take it away, he's got a mouthful of pistachio to work on. He very smart, but oh, is he? Yeah, he is greedy and addicted. Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah, Unicorn Art said this week's Pink Dahlia listed. I forgot to mention that. I always have on my website a spot for this that week's auction. Last week it didn't sell, so I just renewed it. So you can bid on last week's painting, the Pink Dahlia. I've got better photographs of it, so you can see what it looks like over on my website, Lachri.com. If you just go to the front page, you can see click it, it'll show the auction if you're in the US, if you want to buy the dahlias. Okay, so let's talk about this again. So we've got this dark background. When you have a background that dark, you need to make your darks even darker. So here, your flowers are on a light colored background. So that dark is pretty dark. Here, you need to be way darker because you're on a dark background. You've got to match that. This is going to help balance everything out. Right now, they don't really feel like they're a part of the dark background because your darks aren't dark enough yet, but that's an easy fix. You can fix that. So definitely get those darker. This flower in the background I really like. I would make your darkest bits a teeny bit darker, but for the most part, I like him how he is. I really like your leaves too. Looking at those, you did a great job. Look at the contrast with your lights and your darks. That looks nice. I would just darken this a bit more. Look, like that should be black right there. That should be almost black. Like it should be black. You've got a black background. I would go with black. This is the flower over here though that really needs the work. It's the same colors of this as this, which I don't want to see. I want to see that different, more reds, so that this flower, which is really the focal point, we want to push that forward. Darken this one here. If we darken that, wow, it's flashy. If we darken that, it's going to, whoops. Let's pull you over here because that's, there we go. If we darken this flower here, yeah. If you darken that entire flower, it's going to push this one comes forward so much. You end up with more depth in the work. This flower is going to look better. It makes that flower look better, even though you really aren't doing much to it. It's just everything will look better. Get those darks way darker. And on these, when I talk about getting the darks darker, I just mean in these really dark areas, just in here. Don't make everything darker. Leave everything else pretty light. Just those darkest bits, those little corners, go ahead and darken those up. But this is the one that we need to get rid of the whites, which, how easy is that? It's so easy to cover white. Just get everything a bit darker. Okay. Beautiful work. Okay, let's see who we've got next. Now, I probably won't finish all of these tonight. We'll see. I figured we do the critiques, end up doing it 2 weeks in a row. So we can do that if I've got enough for that. We'll see. Let me save this. And let's pull these into Photoshop. You and you. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Oops. And you. Okay, let's see. This is from Nancy. She said, let's see. This is an 8x8 inch acrylic painting of a tabby cat. My goal was a pet portrait and likeness of the cat. My concern is that this painting, as well as many others, look flat and just don't have that life to it. Please critique the painting as to what it needs to be alive. Okay. Really nice work, Nancy. So in your case, I would say make your darker colors darker. We're very, this is a great stage too, because a lot of what you can do is just from glazing. So let's actually do a little bit of that. Let's see, look at these orangey tones, kind of brownish oranges, yeah, whatever. Now this is not as good as what you can do as a glaze on your painting, but it will give you an idea. Whoops, we can start pulling these richer tones in here. We've got a lot around the face. So what's happening right now is you basically, oh wait, let's not be stupid. Let's redo all of this with layers. Okay, why do I always forget to do that? Layer, new. Layer, let's draw on that. Okay, doing that again. I know, I hear you over there, Tuna. Tuna's mad that I forgot his friend on my shoulder. Look at all these areas where we can get these darker tones. This whole area, see what's happening right now is you've got everything kind of white and black. We need all of these brown tones. There's really not that much white. There's no white on the cat. The only kind of white that you would get is the highlight on the ear. And even that can be toned down some. We don't want that much, like, let's get that richness in there. And we also will darken some of this up. So as we get into this area, oops, erase, okay. As we get into that area, we'll also darken that a lot. I love, you're pretty accurate on a lot of this. I know, buck, buck, chicken bird. Chicken taught everyone to say everything he says. So let's pull some darker colors. This whole area, really, we want to push that back. We've got this area in here is a lot darker. Now, obviously, I'm not getting all of the details that you can get, but this just gives you an idea of what I'm talking about with these shadows. This side of the paw is more in shadow. We've got more shadow right in here. More shadow in here. So what's happening is because everything was just straight, the black and the white, that's great. You're in a great place. You've done nothing wrong as far as like the layering process. We're just missing now the glazing to build a bit more depth. And you can go further with this. This is like, just a real quick, and a lot of these need to be a lot darker. He's trying to make the sounds I'm making. He's making little clicky sounds, like what the pet is. Anyway, that gives you an idea. And I mean, some of these darker too. Some of that just from the glare. You'll have to adjust that in Lightroom most likely when you take your photos. Look how dark this needs to be. So like you're there. Look at how, and I mean, imagine if you actually put time into it instead of rushing like what I'm doing, what you could end up with. Look at the difference now. And it's not great, but it's a start. Let's actually lighten some of that. But doing it in glazes. So translucent paints, don't mix white in with it. There we go. Let's pull some of that out. I got a little crazy with. There we go. But anyway, that is really what it needs. We just need the, we just need more of these darks in there. A lot more, a lot more. You can, I like to make my, go ahead and make my lights a little bit lighter, but you need to get your darks darker too. Like, oh, it's good to overdo the contrast, but right now, just black and white, yeah, you've got contrast, but we're missing the mid-range. All of those mid-tones, we want to get those in there, and that's going to add a lot more depth. Your detail looks great. I love the fur. Watch the direction of the fur. There's a couple areas where it's going in a wonky direction. Let's see. So like here, see how it kind of switches directions all over the place. Make sure you're following that. Watch where the fur switches odd. Here comes back down. We've got a little bit more fur you can define that better on with. These are minor changes. You're mostly done. The stuff that I'm talking about, an hour and you're going to be done with that. Just lightly glazing over that. So it looks so good. Oh my gosh, I love it. I like the blues with the background too. Good choice. Okay. Who is next? Do we have a reference photo for this by chance? This is from Debbie. Oh, yeah, it's right below it. I just didn't scroll far enough. Let's see. Let me load these over. And let's see what Debbie has to say. To my dog Pepper that passed away this last year, I'm so sorry. Your classes have been so helpful to me. You really helped me improve my art, made me more confident. Thank you. Okay, it doesn't say what your goals were on this one. No, it doesn't look like it came in later. So I'm not sure. I'm going to go with realism just because that's what I typically teach. Great job. I really like a lot about, because this isn't a good angle. Let's be honest. The reference photo, not a great angle. And sometimes that happens. And especially if we're doing pet portraits and it's a pet that's passed and we can't go get new photos of them. So I think you did really well with the angle that you have. I think I would change it though. So I would like to see you do this again. But instead, sorry, did I move too much? Okay. And what if instead of the whole body, we removed, let's actually just do that, and I need a new layer fill. Where's my mouse? New layer fill. Beep bird, beep bird. I'm gonna go with white. Let's see if it will remove the background nicely. Sometimes Photoshop does it well, and sometimes it's really bad. Okay, good. It actually wasn't terrible. I mean, it's not great, but it's good enough. Okay, so what I would do instead of leaving the body because of the way that, I mean, it's an odd angle, but I also really love the angle of the head because you've got this three-dimensional look. I think that if we took out this portion, I don't even think it needs to be there in the work. So we're just talking more about composition right now. What if instead we really focused on the face? We'd have to enlarge it quite a bit. I'm enlarging it so much it actually makes it a little bit of a pain. Something more like this, I think, would make for a much more flattering painting. just because of the angle. Because when you first look at this, now I do kind of like that it's almost in the shape of a heart. So that's kind of sweet, and I like that. And I would almost run with that. If I was going to leave that body to where it looked like a heart, I wonder what would happen. I'm just experimenting. Hold on, I've got an idea. And this is one of the reasons I absolutely love working in Photoshop when I design stuff, so I can change, test out ideas if I think it might be neat. Let's see. So I like this composition better for a portrait, but one of the things that might make this kind of neat, let's see. What if we made, is it like, what about playing with the idea of like kind of turning a heart? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud right now, but it might be a way to make that work, like kind of creating this heart shape so it makes more sense for that design. I don't know. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I would kind of play around with the design on that in Photoshop to see. I like a lot about what you've done. I think your drawing is great, but I think if you zoomed in a bit more and focused on the head, it makes more sense, unless you're doing something kind of artsy with, a heart shape or even just any line. It doesn't even have to be a heart. You could just, oops. What am I on? Oh, you're not showing. Even if it was just, something else to make that work a bit better. Let's say, I don't know. That looks like a question mark. Whoops, that's a terrible idea. I don't know. Play around with that. If you wanted to do that whole body, I would play around with some sort of artsy, like flowy line. Not on the original. I would do it in Photoshop to find out if I like it first. Peekaboo baby bird. I know. But yeah, I would definitely crop that. Do this again and crop it, because it is a good photo if we crop the rest of that out. It doesn't make sense because of the angle. It's funny because I started out saying it's not a good angle, but if we change it, it is. But we have to take the rest of the body out because the body in the artwork kind of doesn't make a ton of sense. So those would be a couple of things I would think. Yeah, the sound, the parrotlets squeak. It's like, try to take a squeaky toy from a dog, but make it make sounds enough that it sounds like talking. I know what he's trying to say, but it doesn't really sound, it's just squeaking, huh? And he never shuts up. Never. Peekaboo, baby bird. Say doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. You can say other things? Beep, 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 beep. Those are his favorites. He learned those from Nugget. Okay, so those are my tips here. The other thing, it doesn't say did it say what medium? I don't know what medium you're on. Yeah, I'm not sure the medium or anything like that. The other thing is when you zoom in, I would focus, because I know I said it wasn't a great photo, but look at me pointing out all the things I kind of like about it. Look how dark this area is. The lighter over here, I would definitely play that up. Make sure you capture, like here, look, this needs to be darker than this. And that's also going to help the muzzle feel like it's sticking out more. Right now, this is all the same. If we could get that shadow, and it's subtle, it's not a huge difference, but if we can get stuff like that, and it'll be easier to do because you're zoomed in now. Before, you're on a smaller area, you don't really have room to do that much with, but that's going to allow us to get more of the shadows in there. And if we look at, baby, okay, if we look at here, so we've got a grayish blue, we've got definite white, we've got darker values in there, we've got a warmer gray, and I would make it starker, hype up the contrast a little bit more, but play with doing a bit more shading than what you've got, I think would also be cool. Now, that said, it's not like what you've done isn't beautiful. It is very, very pretty. These are just tips that I would do to make it even better. So very good work. And the other thing is, yours is a more stylized look, whereas I'm talking about something being more realistic. This is why I always ask, like, what were your goals for the piece? Because if you're going for more stylized, you're fine. It just depends on what your goals were there. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. These are really big. I can't really see. I've seen zoomed in portions, so I don't know what all is here. Okay, let's pull these over. I don't even know what that sound is. What are you saying? I can't translate that. Oh, how cute is that? And I think I've pulled too many things. Yeah, you look good. I've got baby bird. Bird. And I just closed things I didn't want closed because, oh, I see what I did. Never mind. That makes sense why that happened. I was so confused for a moment there. Okay, here we go. Is that? Oops. Yeah, those are the two photos. Okay, so this is from Katie, who said, wondered if you'd be able to include my Wren painting as a part of your upcoming critique. It's one I really struggled with on the foliage. I was aiming for these leaves, but I just gave up and went with this instead. Oh, I know that feeling. Oh, I like the way, is it on snow? Now that would, oh, obviously there's snow in the background. Oh, thank you. You giving kisses? That was a nice kiss. You actually didn't bite me that time. Okay. Oh, I like your background too. I want to use this as an example. Maybe not with the hand, but maybe with, I don't know. One of the things I talk about often is staging your artwork. A piece that's pretty can look so much nicer if you put it like on a table with a branch of a leaf going through it or just something else. And this is a nice way of staging it. The work or the elements that she's included look pretty cool. I don't feel like it takes away from the artwork. The brushes, maybe I'd let them show a little bit more, but that's a pretty cool way to stage the work. Okay, so on to the Wren, the leaves of the Wren. So, oh, the Wren is adorable. I love the addition of the little bit of aqua from the background here. Very nice. Okay, so the leaves, you rushed them. That's basically what happened. Want to know how I know? Because I do the same thing all the time. They look like, actually, they kind of look like starfish because we don't have the look of the leaves. So let's talk about well, let's just zoom into this and work on the leaves a bit. What is popping up here? I don't even know what you are. I don't want you, whatever you are. And you're doing it again. Why do you keep popping up? I didn't touch anything. Did I touch anything? I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. Let's go with layer. Where's my mouse? Layer, new layer. Yeah, when we deal with leaves and flower petals and anything like that, I'm going to go back to go watch the wildflower painting from last week and the one I'm working on now. Did you bite my hair? When you want to do leaves, like the photo that you have is so detailed and it takes forever. So what we do, and by we, I mean you and I, because I do it too, we'll look at the photo and we're like, okay, I'm going to do this really quick. It's simple. I'm going to do it really quick. And then we don't like it. So we're like, because we didn't want to take the time to really put in all the little detail. We tried to do a faster version of it and that didn't come out good. So we work on it some more. That's not coming out good. And we work on it some more. The problem is we keep half doing it. And we end up spending 4 times as long as if we had taken the time and went super slow and really broke it down and painted those details. It's one of the things I'm working with on the wildflowers is making myself slow down and really pay attention to those. So let's just pull one of these over. Why do those look like starfish? Well, one, I think everything looks like the ocean. So mostly it's me. I'm the problem here. But come on, zoom in. We're going to work on one of these leaves and just talk a little bit more about slowing down. So these are these two right here. Yeah, you're making messy brush strokes basically. Again, I know because that's what I do too. So they're not drawn correctly, first of all. And one of the reasons is they're weird looking, not yours, the photograph. These leaves are weird shapes. Great shapes, copy them, but they are peekaboo baby bird, but they are kind of odd shapes. Let's look at that first. Where's the black? Look at the actual shape. That leaf comes up. We've got the center. I should have made another layer, but whatever. If I do this all in one brush stroke, it's not so bad. And then we've got the centers. That's the shape of the leaf. Oh wait, that guy. That's the shape of the leaf. That is not the shape that you've got something kind of close. Close enough I knew it was that leaf, but that's a big part of the problem. The next part is this weird, the way the light is hitting looks weird. When you paint it, you're going to be painting it going, I'm doing this wrong. It looks weird. No, it really is. It's like a light bluish gray. Let's actually look at that color. It's not purple, although I do kind of like the purple in yours. That really bold color is pretty. So, but look at that. That is our highlight. That's the light part of the purple, but we've also got this red color. We're missing the red in yours. You just went in all in on the purple. So we've got that. We've got details we want to get. So look at these little leaves. I mean, all of these details, we don't have any of those. Look at the way the lights and the shadows are. These are harsh shadows. Like, you don't have to, well, yours might be big enough, you probably can blend it, but look at how sharp that is. When you're painting it, you're going to feel like it's too sharp, and you're going to try to blend it, and you're going to overblend it, because that's what we do, and it's not going to look as good. Would you stop? I did not expect you to sit and talk so much tonight. Stop. I know, you're a baby bird. So if you can get the colors, obviously get the really light areas in there, but look at where we've got these super dark areas. That one is faded, so you would still blend some of this. But let some of them also be really harsh and get the little detailed lines in there. What I would do is slow down, start with an accurate drawing. Trace it if you need to. Trace and transfer. And you may think it's a leaf. I don't need to trace it. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it can help you a lot. Just while you're learning the movement of it, because it looks wrong. When you look at the photo, you're going to look at that photo and you're going to draw it just like it and think this looks wrong. If you traced it, you know you didn't draw it wrong. That really is the way the leaf is shaped. But getting the details in there, taking your time, look at these edges. Take the time to get these jagged edges in there. There's just so much little detail that if you put a bit more time into it, your work is going to look so much more realistic. So what you've done, it's pretty. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're going for more realism, we need to slow down and work on one little bit of the leaf at a time. Not continue it. Layering is good, but we want to layer with a goal, like with a plan in mind. If we're just slopping paint on, slop more paint on, we don't like it, slop more paint on, we don't like it. If we're doing it without having a goal of, okay, I need to make this area, my goal on this next layer is this has to be lighter and I need to soften these details. Whatever it is, you have to have a goal for those layers. Just going in and slopping layer after layer after layer. I say layer till it looks good, yes, but have a goal for each of those layers so that you're not just making the same mistakes over and over again, continuously creating something you're not happy with. So, I mean, yours have more of a feathery kind of look to it than the leaf look. So just slowing down is going to make a huge difference. And it's going to take time and it's going to be tedious, and you will get faster with that as you go. But the funny thing is, you look at it and you think, oh, this is going to take too long. I don't want to put that much work into it. But the reality is, when we do something and we don't like it, we keep having to rework it, change it, rework it. We're spending more time fixing something and never ending up with the end result that we wanted than if we would have just taken the time in the first place, slow down and really copy what we see in that reference photo. I am so guilty of this because we want to get it done quickly. We're just like, couple brush strokes and we want to be done. But if we just, that's all it is. And I can see your detail work that you're doing, like on the berries, you can do the detail work. You've got the skill. We just need to have the patience and decide before we go in. I'm going to take an hour on one leaf. Water, sorry. Beep. Okay, but you haven't had a bite in a while. You want a bite? Will you be good? Here you go. There you go. It's a crack snack. He is so addicted to these. Okay, let's see. Take a bite and let go. No, don't keep taking bites. One bite and let go. What? Can I have this back now? One bite. You've got like 8 bites right now. Let go. Let go. You are such a thief. Here, take that big chunk too. Okay. Let's zoom this out. So I really like where you're going with this. And you put so much detail into the Wren. I want to see that level of detail in the leaves. It almost doesn't feel like it's the same artist who did both of those, because you took the time on the Wren. You had a plan going into it. You knew how to copy those feathers. But now when it comes to leaves and flowers and well, leaves and flowers, I don't know where I was going with that. Slow down. Take your time. Put in that extra work. Okay. Beautiful. I really like it. I would like to see you take those same leaves, though, on the same painting and put more time into them. Yeah, I hear you over there, Tuna. Okay. What am I doing where the icon in the bottom right between the folder and the trash can will make a new layer? I know, and I never remember. Yeah, Joseph tells me all the time, and I get all excited, and then poof, don't remember. So, yeah, that's a failure on my part for sure. I should just make myself like not use the other way. I'm not allowed to use the other way and force myself to have to remember. I don't know. I'm going to go with I'm old. Leave me alone. Okay. And let's see. This is from Cassie, who is currently critiquing my Photoshop skills. She's not wrong, though. Neither is Joseph. Let's see. Drawing is charcoal, 11 by 14 inch, blue tone Strathmore mixed media paper. I chose this particular drawing because I'm proud of how it came out in spite of the reference, and I thought it could be a good example to viewers how you can use real life and other pictures with a drawing you're struggling with. I did this drawing as a part of a fundraiser for a cat rescue, so I couldn't ask for a better reference. Oh, okay, I've been there. But I was able to look at my own fluffy cat. She was not happy about me trying to use her as a model. And pictures of cats in similar positions to make it work. There are some things I would change. The forehead, I could definitely do better, but mostly I wanted to ask about guidance on pricing work. I've tried looking at other artists online to get a ballpark idea, but prices range anywhere from $150 to $700 for those sizes. Just don't know where to start. A lot of factors. This almost would be better. So are you looking for a critique? Did you want a critique on this, Cassie, or pricing artwork is kind of its own thing, which isn't what I want to go, like, it's not today's video. The short answer to pricing artwork is it comes down to building a name for yourself and what you can get people to pay. You want to start on the low end, and as people pay that, you can raise your price from there, but don't start on the $700 end and realize no one's paying that and then have to lower it. That is never a good idea. I have a video. If you look at pricing art, it's old. It's really old, but the information's the same. That really covers what you're talking about. It's so much to do with, yeah, I mean, it's art business, so I think that would be a good topic for a regular live stream. But are you here, Cassie? No worries, whatever works. I was trying to help, not critique. Oh, no, you were helping. Trust me. I just won't remember. I'm so bad about it. But did you want to critique on this one or not? Let me know, because I don't want to critique something that you just want to be like, look at my awesome work. I don't want, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and download the next batch. More cats. It's the night of kitties. It's not for you, huh? Yeah, your work is great. I mean, so I don't know if you're looking for, it's all great tips, what you're talking about too. So I'm not sure. No worries. I appreciate that. I thought it might not be a good fit. If there's stuff you would see to fix, go for it. Otherwise, you can move on to someone else. Okay. Just really quick, and this is going to be a challenge when you're dealing with a photo like that. This is the one thing that kind of stands out to me is the shape here. We should have pink. We need pink. This is really an odd shape for that angle. It looks too defined. This line right here is kind of and it's hard because it's such a blurry photo. So I see where the challenge is, but that's certainly something I would adjust. This eye could be pulled up a bit more, just a bit. I would definitely make the darks a bit darker, just because that's my always go-to thing. I think that almost always will look better. But no, you did I like the little frizz you did for getting the texture. You really improved on that photo a lot. Great work there. Yeah, this eye is pulled out. It needs to be here. That end comes out a little too far, and then that shadow needs to come out that way a bit more, just up there. So because what's happening, the eyes are a little bit too elongated this way, and it's causing an odd, like a little bit of a skew. We want to round that off a little bit. And then this kind of should chop some of that off. So it's an odd, when you're dealing with a 3/4 angle, it's a little bit different, but we've got it like this eye is extending out more than what you want. It's really just a perspective thing. Undo, undo, undo. There we go. To round that off right in there. Same thing over here. Darken that corner off. This corner I would also darken right in there too. That highlight that you've got coming up here, I probably wouldn't make it that bright, but it's a pretty detail, so I get why you would do that. But yeah, the perspective here is this whole section right here. The perspective is a little bit wonky, but it's a really difficult reference photo. And like you said, what are you going to do? This is the photo I've got. This is what I have to work from. I think you improved on it so much. So you did a great job. But those are the things that I would probably adjust a little bit more. And like here, see how you've got the fur coming way up this way? You're creating the illusion that this is even longer. And I think that's adding to the kind of the shape being a little bit off. I would probably pull some of that in, but also if this came down instead of being up here as much as it is, see what I mean? How it's like separating this section, where if we look at the reference photo, see how it fades into the dark there? We don't see that definite curve here. This whole section is just in the dark. I would leave it in the dark. When you've got a reference photo like that, yeah, do what you did, get the texture from other photos and from your cat, and you did. I love the texture that you created. But also, if you've got something where you've got this huge dark shadow, leave that dark shadow in there. Go, just run with that. It's going to add a lot more depth. You've got the dark on the head. I would darken that up too and have just a hint of some of the details that you've got. But it's those are the minor changes that I would make on that. You did a wonderful job, because that is a difficult photo to work from. Okay. But yeah, and the unfortunate thing when it comes to pricing your artwork, no one's going to say, you should charge $400 for this. And that's what we want to hear. We want to know. I mean, heck, I've got paintings. I mean, they're quick stuff, but they're also stuff that I could sell. Like if I had it at an art show, I might sell it for $300. I might sell it on my website for $300. And half the time on an auction, I can't sell it for $70. So, you know, it has to get in front of the right person, the right buyer, the person who wants that at that point in time. Art's just kind of a weird thing, but a lot of it is building a name for yourself. So you're probably not going to sell your work if you're just starting out doing commissions. You're probably not going to sell your work for the same price that I would, because I've been doing it for 20. God, how old am I? When did I start? I decided I was going to be a professional artist in like 99, so it's been a while. God, we're coming up on 30 years here. But it's going to take you time to build to that. But like I said, no one's going to tell you, besides possibly a gallery owner. They are going to be able to tell you what they feel they can sell your work for based on your reputation that you currently have and your skill level and what their buyers like. The problem is most gallery owners, not a lot of them are taking realism, and they're definitely not taking pet portraits. So that, you know, gets a little bit harder for those of us who do those things. I know it's not that helpful. It's just there's a reason that we don't have straight answers. You should sell for this much. What the best thing I can tell you is find somebody who is about the same as you are as far as skill, technique, style, and what are they selling? But they are selling their work. What are they pricing it at? And where are they selling their work? So that would like look on eBay, look on Etsy, see what you can find there. Look on Instagram if you've got artists who have about the same amount of followers as you and they're doing about the same as you. What are they charging for theirs, and is it selling? So those can be helpful. And I don't think did we have a reference for this? Janet said, I struggled and struggled with this, trying to move the soft fur. Finally, I gave up. What did I do wrong? I appreciate your help in advance. And I don't think we've got a reference for this. No, there's no reference, which makes it a little bit difficult. It's way easier when we've got references. So let's see. Yeah, I'm using a Wacom tablet for the draw, an older one. Let's see. So you struggled with getting the soft fur. What we need is a photo of a tabby cat. Let me pull up Unsplash. We're going to get something to look at to compare. I don't need anything perfect, just kind of, I just need some fur texture we can look at. You actually, this is good. There's a lot about this. This one kind of works. Let's pull this up because he's kind of similar. Not exact, but we can go with good enough. Okay, so let's take a look at fur. So we've got short fur. I like that you've got the fur, especially around here where it switches direction. You've got it going in the right place. This has a very stylized feel to it more than super realistic, which isn't a bad thing. I just don't, I'm not sure, did it say what your goal was while getting the soft fur? Let's see. Yeah, I just struggled with soft fur. So right now, what we have is more, it's actually similar to the style that I talked about with painting the wildflowers on the video that had just gone up. The fur is a little bit sharper, tiny, tiny details. And the way that I would paint this, don't I have a tabby cat? I think I have a tabby cat video in acrylics. I do. You're on Patreon, so you have access to it, but I have a tabby cat video where I show, did this have the size? Because this might be, depending on the size this is, that makes it more difficult too. But I would go through and do the entire cat, kind of like the cat we did earlier that was almost all black and white. Get the fur going in the right direction, get all of the details that you want, and then glaze color where it needs to be. Get those oranges in separately. Now that's not to say what you have here is bad. It just has a more stylized feel, which doesn't have the soft fur you're looking for. So I would use a combination of a rake brush and a liner brush or a round brush and get in more of those individual furs. And I would just do it in black and white. I would not worry about the orange first. Keep it simple. Do the black and white. Get the fur to look how you want it to be. The texture, the softness, those little tiny, tiny little lines. Again, rake brush, liner brush, small round brush. Those all work well. The small round brush that I've been using on the wildflower video that came from, what is it, Artify? I don't know, the cheap brush set I've been raving about. You will have to glue the handles back on, but don't care. It's worth it. I love those brushes. That brush works really well, and I would define the details a little bit more. Again, I don't have the reference photo, so it's harder to say. Or to get exacts, but like what you have has almost a much more painterly style, not quite impressionism, but I mean, you're getting those more globby paint strokes in there versus the way, if I'm doing something in realism, I'm doing little individual hairs and defining those and then glazing my shadows and such. But I would do this in black and white or sepia and white, maybe not even black and white. You do it with like a dark sepia. So I would use, in my case with Liquitex, because I don't actually have a sepia that I like, I would use red oxide, black and white, and get my base layer and then glaze the color that I want over that. That way I use the red the red oxide to create a brown. I mix that with black to get the brown that I want, just because Liquitex Basics browns dry really fast in the tube. But getting those in there. If we look even at this cat, looking at the ears, look how much darker the ears can be. And that's normally, again, your reference photo may be different, but that's usually how it's going to be in most cats. We want to darken up the inside of the ear so that those white lines will show up more. When we get into this area, we don't have that soft texture of the fur because it's all very light. Now you do have shadows in there, and that's why I keep saying for a stylized look, this is very good. But if I were to do this, let me find it. I'll show you the cat that I'm talking about because there's a video and you can just paint it along with me and it will help, I think, a lot. Do I have it in here? Cat, yes, this one. This is the one that I'm talking about. Baby bird, baby bird, baby bird. So this is more zoomed in, but you can see what I'm talking about with those little hairs, just getting that texture in there first and then glazing the colors. And I think on that one, I started with like a raw sienna and then put white and black on top from there. So I actually did a little bit different, but that would work for any of the tabby cats. But that gives me the more defined little individual bits of fur versus heavier brush strokes. Yours have the heavier brush strokes. And that, again, not going to say that's wrong because that is a very pretty style and you did very well with that. But you said you wanted the softer fur. We need to get those more individual fur strokes in there. The small, tiny brushes, tiny rake brushes, tiny everything. So that is my tip for soft fur. Right now, your brush strokes are more glob. I say globby, and that sounds negative. No, we actually want that in many cases, like the flowers that I was working on. I won't shut up about those dang flowers, will I? But when you're trying to get that softness, we need to get those thin individual, like really thin lines. And we need to make sure that those thin lines are overlapping and building these clumps and clusters of fur. So if you look, I've got a lot of acrylic paintings with fur. Tigers, I've got, gosh, I don't know. Where's my video library? Let's see. What do I have that I think, that video I think would help you? And then, see, acrylics. I'm just going to my video library really quick so I can tell you which ones I think are going to be helpful to you. Even the bear video. There's a bear in acrylics. I think that one may really help you because you've got that soft fur. Let's see, there's a fox in acrylics. So again, soft fur, not quite the same as tabby cat. Different texture. There's a wolf in acrylics. So again, a lot of detailing with soft fur. And I'm using slightly different techniques on a lot of those. The cheetah in acrylics could help. Scrolling. Some of the tigers would help. Some I've used heavier brush strokes, so it's closer to yours. There's a leopard eye in acrylics where while it is focused on the eye, the fur around it would be helpful. You got the tabby cat. Beep, 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 beep. The raccoon. That raccoon video, that fur texture, I think will help you a lot. So there's a lot of those videos. I would suggest, yeah, even there's another fox one that would help. The black leopard may or may not help you. I'm looking for cat ones. So I would definitely check those out because I think that's going to make more sense if you can see how I'm layering that paint. So it's very different than the way you layered it. And again, it's hard for me to judge it negatively or say that it's not wrong for sure, but I know what you're talking about. It's just a different painting technique, different painting style. And if you watch those videos I just suggested, that's going to give you more of what the fur type that you're looking for. Okay. What? Okay, we've got, let's see. Where did I just save that? Critiques, there we are. Do you have a reference on this? I don't think there is. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, okay. So this is from Lily. So this is this is a big one. 30 by 36 inch acrylics. Something I painted a long time ago, like maybe 11 years. I painted it for someone who never got it. This is not varnished, so I can repaint it. I am wanting to rework it. like change the background behind his antlers so they stand out more. Put more detail into his coat and muscling, maybe darker in the bottom corners. What I would like for you to tell me, what changes would you do to it? I hear your comments, and I'd love to hear your comments and ideas. Thanks for all of you. Okay. Oh, reference photo is gone. It makes sense. 11 years ago. I understand because I often have people ask for reference photos that I no longer have. So I get it. Okay. So this, look for another photo and see if this is accurate. First thing that is standing out to me, which is a weird thing to, whoops, I just made that. Hold on. Nope, not that. Nope, there we go. This here, am I doing it again? No. Oh, let's do a new layer. New. Look, I'm doing it wrong again. Oops. There we go. And now I need to add a new layer because I have a line there. New layer. And I know that, are you laughing now? I know there's a better way to do that. Okay. Why are you not zooming in? Did you? Oh, because my battery is dying on this. Okay, this line is really like that and that. I don't know why when I looked at it, this super stood out to me as being a little bit of an odd thing. Is there any way, like, just round out his snoot a little bit right there? So that would be number one. Even if the reference photo was flat there, I'll still round that snoot out just a little bit. Let's see. So right now, I feel like the trees in the background have more harsh detail than his coat does. So I'm torn on, does that mean you should put more detail in his coat? No, I think we should tone down those trees. I think with the skill that you have, I love the grass. I love the shadow. I actually love a lot. Man, this is good. I would tone down the trees in the background. That would be, fix his snoot. And then those trees, soften the yellow, soften, and I don't just mean darken. I mean, I would repaint those. Don't cover them completely. Let them peek through, but soften them. Use the fine mist sprayer to keep it wet so that they're not as like Bob Ross. So Bob Ross, his stuff in the background, his stuff in the foreground is all the same. We want to soften that out as we fade into the background. And if we can soften those, and it's not even an issue so much of the color. Now, I would like to see the white of the tree trunks, maybe tone those down some so that his antlers would stand out more. Plus, it would make sense that they would be darker if you look at a photo of, like if you found this photo, I bet you those were not that bright. Unless the photographer overexposed them. But they're going to be back in shadow more. So I would look for more photos like that. But I mean, keeping the same thing, but just blurring it out. Let me show you what I mean. We can actually do this really quick. Layer. I thought I needed that layer, but I do not. I need you. Layer. Duplicate layer. This may or may not work. Sometimes, let's see. Can I remove the background? What's it remove? No, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to, let's see, layer, filter, blur. Sure, we'll go with that. You up here, oh, you're not going to do it for me. Layer, duplicate. Okay, I'm going to, this is just a super fast and super lazy way to do this. We are going to erase now a bunch of that. It's going to be messy. I apologize. I'm messing up and blurring his antlers in a way we don't want. There are so many better ways I could have just done that. I kind of wish I would have done it the better ways, but whatever. Okay, if we take those, soften that out. Man, I did a crap job of that. Okay, if we soften that out, already look at what a difference that makes. Then what if we also darken some of it? Sure, let's do this. See what I mean? Like what a difference that alone made. And did I do a good job? No, I did an absolutely terrible job. This is terrible. But it's going to make him stand out so much more just by softening and darkening that. I love the grass. I wouldn't touch it. I love the grass. It's those trees that I think are just too in focus, too detailed. And you can even have more detail in the yellow ones up front than you do the green. I would push the greens further back, the yellow maybe a little bit more in focus, and then leave the foreground how you've got it. So that is my tip for that one. Okay. Next. Oh, I recognize this guy. He just got shipped to his house on Monday, so it should be there, the one I did. Okay. Beep, bird. Beep, bird, beep, bird. Okay, let's pull you up. So, we've got from Aaron, who said, I would like to submit my version of the hummingbird. I used reference photos from the live a few weeks ago. I would like help with the feather texture and the deadness of the eyes. I didn't have pan pastel, so I just tried to use my pencils, Prismacolor, and watched your tutorial, but since I was going with pencils, I didn't follow along much and tried to do it alone. I don't know if you need the reference photo since it's yours. I appreciate that you attached it because who knows what file I put that in. Okay, so from Aaron, hey, you did a good job. I would darken up. Oops, sorry, baby bird. I'm sorry. You can come back. Did I move too much? Did I surprise you? Okay. Darken up the darks a bit more. You've got more of the highlights here. Here, let's do my layer the wrong way. Layer. Okay. You don't need to be that big. Oops. You need to be that big. Stop it. You don't need to be that big. Beep. Okay. So let's drop this. Whoops. You. We've got these darks back here. Darken that up a lot. We want to get the eye to be a lot darker. So you've got a couple things happening. Your highlight is, now luckily you did your highlight too bright. I would rather it be too bright because it's way easy to darken it up a little bit. If you go too dark, it's hard to change that, but just look what a difference just by darkening that. I always like it to be a little bit darker up at top, on the top. So right there, those couple of things, look what a difference that just made. I would probably make this a bit softer than what I've got there. So the feathers, you are doing like you made one, it looked good, and then you made them all look the same. Right now, see how, oops, this is not the right brush for that. Opacity, there's my problem. And actually, no, we can leave it. See how right now your feathers all go the same way. They're all down at that same angle. Like it really doesn't change at any point. Whereas if we look at the reference photo, watch me make my layers the wrong way. Look at how these ones are going back. Actually, we can zoom you in a bit. Look at how they change direction. This is going to give you a much more natural look than doing the same one over and over again. If we copy paste the same feather, it is not going to look realistic. Ask the expert here. He's telling you. He agrees. His feathers go all over the place. They're all over the floor, actually. But see, even here, all of these are kind of going down the same direction, whereas they really should be angling back this way. They actually kind of curve. I'm overdoing the movement there, but you can see the difference in that movement. Then when we get down here, we get into these, the wings. Look at those feathers there. See how we've got a change of shape right in there a bit more. those few things, changing the direction of your feathers. By the way, you did a great job. He's adorable. And at the very least, I mean, you're probably not going to do a whole lot to change the shape of your feathers at this point, but you can add the dark along the back and you can add the dark on the eye. That alone, huge, huge difference for you. But the direction of the feathers would be the other thing that I would really watch. Also, how many undos can I do? Because I was too lazy to make a second layer. But if I did it the right way, it wouldn't be such a pain in the butt. Darken this up a little bit more. Really, his whole beak can be more of a darker gray, and that'll help his chest to feel brighter. Because right now, right here and here are the same. We don't want that. This should be darker, and that's going to let this stand out a little bit more. But other than that, I think great job. And really, just the difference of the eye and the shadow back there, that alone is going to make a huge difference. And you can fill in more feathers. You don't need quite that much of the black showing through. Let a few peek through, but you can change kind of the shape on some of those by filling in a little bit over the black. But no, you're at a great place. He's just not quite finished yet. Peekaboo. Okay, next. Beep, a beep, a beep, a beep. Beep, a beep, a beep. Beep, a beep, a beep. Where did the photo go? Or the painting? Did it? Oh, right in front of me. Whoops, that's not what I needed. Beep, a beep, a beep. Part of what he's doing, it doesn't sound like it. It took me a while to realize what he was trying to do. Was I've been trying to teach him here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty, 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 but it doesn't sound like it. He kind of gets the syllables right, but that's about it, which is hilarious. So part of what you're seeing is his attempt at here, kitty, 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 here, kitty, 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 kitty. Okay, focus, Lisa. Still got work to do. Okay, so this is from Dell. So my second portrait with Prismas. So the main thing I had issues with is that it stopped taking layers. I can't remember after how many layers. Also, do you have a way for doing jewelry or small stuff? Like, for instance, the skin underneath the chain of the necklace is white because I don't know how to do color and still do details. Actually, leaving it white was the way to go because it looks like it's shiny. It doesn't even look white. It looks shiny. So what you did is what I would do. Maybe pull a little bit more skin in, but I would leave a lot of the white showing because that's going to make the metal look like it's shiny. It looks intentional to me. That does not at all look like that happened because it didn't go right for you. So it doesn't say what size this is. I don't know if you're watching right now, but it doesn't say, yeah, I don't see what size. So I'm not sure how big that was, but if you want teeny, teeny, tiny detail, work larger is really the answer then. It's teeny detail. I might pull the skin a little bit more. Prismacolors aren't the best for tiny detail. Can it be done? Yes, but I prefer my polychromos because they sharpen to a finer point. You can use a sanding block and sharpen your pencil, just kind of roll that on there to get that really fine point. But you can't do the long points with Prismas or they're gonna break because it's such a soft lead. So beautiful job here on your values. Really nice work. I like how you let the paper show through for the skin. You could pull out more highlights on her face. You could make the blonde hair a little bit darker, but this has a more stylized feel to it, but it feels very intentional. So sometimes when you see me, when I'm critiquing something, I will nitpick and be like, this needs to be different in order to look the same. This feels intentionally more stylized, and that's why I'm not sure. It doesn't say. It looks like your main thing was how to get the tiny details. So yeah, great work though. Yeah, work bigger, tiny details. The larger you work, the more detail, the more room you have for those little details. And maybe get a handful of or polychromos to go with your Prismacolors and use those for your little details because you can sharpen the longest point. Prismas are the best for the little details. The polychromo, or sorry, I had that wrong. Prismas are good for that soft blending. Polychromos are the best for the fine details. Totally backwards. But I maybe get a few of those for the little areas. Watch eyelashes that they're not too defined. Try to, you did a great job on those though, but use a little bit of a lighter hand. Don't push as hard. Don't get it as black. Let it fade a little bit on the end so it's not a start heavy stop point. Would be a tip there. And I would probably pull the highlights a little bit more. Use a little bit of white, mix it in with that color that you've already got for her skin, and lighten the lights a little bit more. You've got some of the highlights in here. I think you could pull that out and get a little bit more depth to the work by brightening that up on her face more too. Really well done. But yeah, the little detail, smaller pencils. Also, I would use definite white on the shine for the metal here on her necklace, and that's going to help it to look shiny. It's funny because I know it wasn't intentional, but one of the reasons your jewelry looks so good is because you accidentally left white. The areas you could have put white, you weren't putting the white. You need to get, to make metal, to make things look shiny, you have to have super sharp darks, like harsh, dark touching the whites. I mean, really harsh contrast there. That's going to give you more of a metallic look. And this here looks more metallic to me because you left white on accident. Like, well, you didn't know how to fill it in, not really accident, but it actually works because you've got the really dark areas in this area. So it looks to me like that just is the way the light is catching it. So I don't think it's a problem, but I know what you mean when you do want to fill in that little detail. I would consider picking up at least a few polychromos for the detailed stuff, and then yeah, even when I talk about the highlights, you know, her hands are so perfect that it balances well with her face. So you don't even really need to do that. I mean, I'm just getting super nitpicky because that is wonderful. But yeah, and Prismacolors are just not well, they're not my favorites anyway because they break constantly and quality control issues. But they are really hard for getting the tiny detail. The fact that you got what you did is phenomenal. What? He's just sitting as a little poof ball making random noises. You did a very, very, very good job with what you're doing, and I don't think that it's going to working bigger. If you want to stick with Prismacolors, I would just do larger pieces so that you can get the little detail. You did this on an 8x10? What the heck? Like I can't believe you got that much detail on an 8x10. You're not going to get better than that. Like you're just, what you got, that's as good as it gets as far as detail with Prismacolors on that paper. Polychromos will help, but even that is like, yeah, 8x10 is smaller. I would have assumed 11x14 at least. Like that is, yeah, work larger. 16x20, you'll have no problem getting that level, the level of detail you're looking for. It'll take a lot longer, but you'll be able to get what you want. So I love the way you work that background color into the piece. Beautifully done. Okay. This one, whoops. Next, we have peppers. I like that you changed the angle there. Okay, this is from Debbie. She said, I submitted one already, but I thought I maybe could submit another one. We'll go quick because I want to try to get through everyone tonight. We're on, I have 6, maybe. We'll see if I can do this. Both are 5x7 acrylic on paper. This one is my son's dog, Hank. Just looking for guidance on how to improve. The other one was my dog, Pepper, 5x7 acrylic on paper. Okay. Oh, so this was the same. Okay. That makes sense. I like this one. This one worked out better. And I think it's the angle. Well, you were smart to turn that to the side, but you've got more. One of the things I like better about this one is I can see definite lights and darks, and I would hype that up way more. Look here how his, let's pull that out. Move these out. Look how light the light is. It's like a light blue, bluish gray, and then black. Whereas here, it's kind of purpley gray, but it's still not as light. Like, look how much lighter we can safely go. And I would even hype it up more, and it'll make him look super shiny. So I would do that. And then when you get into here, this is just detail work. So we're kind of back to what I was talking about earlier, where it's almost a more stylized feel. So it depends on, are you looking for more realism, or are you looking for a more simplistic look? Because this look a lot of people love. So I don't want you to feel like you have to change from this if this is what your goal is. Completely up to you on that. But if you want more detail, this would be one where I would just take a lot of time back here. Oops. Look at all those tiny little hairs and paying attention to the direction that it's going in. You're kind of getting there with the direction that it's going in. You're very similar. So like I said, this works for something that is very stylized, but if you're going for more realism, I would hype up your lights and your darks, and I would get those details. When you've got the ticking, or I don't even know what they call it on these guys, but the way the white and the gray mixing together in there, and not like, yours is a very quick way to do it. This is a very like, whoops. Cancel. There we go. Yours is a very stylized way, but this would be taking the time and just slowly putting in all those little brush strokes, making sure that they're clumped and clustered together, that they're going in the right direction, and it's going to take a while. But if you're going for more realism, you could do that. But again, this as it is right now feels like it's intentionally stylized, and that's good. In that case, I would just hype up the contrast a little bit more. But if you're going for more realism, I would go ahead and slow down with a smaller brush and get that smaller detail in there. For the shine on the eyes, one tip is to do a light blue and then a smaller dot of white in the center. So the majority of the shine on the eye, blue, and then just a tiny bright highlight there. So yeah, and this is where I'm always asking about what your goals are, because you said you wanted to improve, but what are you looking to improve? Because again, very stylized looking, and that's not a bad thing at all. What I need to know, like, are you trying to make it more realistic? If it is, then more detail would for sure be the way I would go. And either way, I would hype up the contrast a little bit more, get those lights a little bit lighter. It looks like your darks are pretty good, but I would definitely get those lights a bit brighter. So well done. Okay. I know, beep, beep, beep. We'll open your smart art box soon. I think we're going to get it through all these tonight. Yeah, Nick said it has a Norman Rockwell look to it. Exactly, and that's where I'm like, who am I to judge Norman Rockwell? Like, if that's the look you're going for, it's good. You're doing a good job. So I don't want to make it sound like you need to change. You don't. I just don't know what your goals were, so that's where I'm not sure, but very well done. Okay. I have 3 photos here. I haven't read the explanation of why yet. Did I save that one? There we go. Okay, let's pull those photos up. You, and you. Ooh, well done. Let's scooch these a bit. Beep, a beep, a beep, a beep. You guys are going to hear beep, a beep, a beep in your sleep, just like I do now. Yeah, beep, a beep, a beep. Okay, so it looks like we're going to do a quick critique of 3 of these, or 2 of these. This is from May. First of all, okay, let's go through here. Okay, so starting with the sunset, this was completed last week. Pan Pastel and colored pencil on pastel mat, 11 by 16 inches. This one was definitely a challenge, and I probably tackled this piece too soon. Absolutely not, because that's beautiful. So you definitely didn't tackle it too soon. And always challenge yourself and do something that you think is too hard for your skill level. If you're not doing something that you think is too hard for you, you're not improving. You have, oh, welcome back. You have to push for something that is too hard and look at proof on why that works, because this is awesome. Always push yourself to something that feels too hard. You will improve so much faster. One of the problems that a lot of people have is that they keep going with beginner. They're like, I feel like I'm a beginner, so I'm going to follow these beginner lessons I found on YouTube or whatever else. You will forever be a beginner if you follow lessons that feel safe, that feel that they're at your level. I don't know what your reference photo looked like here, but the end result is flipping stunning. Your lighting is phenomenal. Not you. Your lighting is phenomenal. Like, I love that you shared that and that you said that you felt that it was too hard for you. No, you nailed it. Good job. Okay, main difficulty was the dense foliage. It looked flat, even though they were technically in silhouette. They were probably a fraction too green, and I think my contrast is a bit off. I mean, I don't have the reference photo. I don't see anything wrong with this. There is not a single thing I'm looking at this and going, I wish you would have done this, or I wish you would have done. The only maybe kind of iffy, maybe, and I'm sure that was on your reference photo, this guy is kind of sticking up, and he's drawing more attention to me than I would like. I might just not have included this branch right here. Just because it's kind of, it gives it depth, but it's also drawing my attention there, and I'd rather just kind of see, like, not see this as much. That could be explained by the branches back there, so I might have left that out. But no, no, it doesn't look flat. It looks, again, I'm not seeing the reference photo, so I'm sure in the reference photo it felt like it had more depth, but I'm loving this. Let's see. Please note I have not provided the reference photo in this case, although I have had all permissions to create the artwork from the photo. I haven't received permission from her to publish her art original on YouTube. Understandable. I can appreciate that. In the second, so we're just going to go with friggin' amazing job. That lighting, those branches. Oh my God. Like, I would be proud to call this one of my pieces. Like, if I had done this, I'd be showing it off like, no, you did good. So I have nothing else on that one. So let's move on to these ones. Second piece is a photo I took of myself and completed the drawing last year, 9x12 colored pencil on pastel matte. I was really proud of my shadows, but I had trouble with the flame and the log looking flat, not quite right. I also had trouble with the red coals on top of the camp ovens, as well as we call them in Australia. I ran out of tooth of paper from changing them. Yeah, I know how that goes too. Okay. Yours looks so much better than the photo. Oh my gosh. The only thing is maybe get your darks a little bit darker in here so that the reds and the whites stand out more. Hyping up that contrast is going to make the coal in these guys, it'll make that glow that much more if the darks are a little bit darker. But like, your darks are so dark in here. You took a mediocre photo and turned it into art. Like, this is so good. Holy crap. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, no, this is perfect. This is so perfect. Maybe a little more of the dark in here, again, just so we're focused on there. And that is getting so nitpicky, it's ridiculous. Maybe a little bit more dark in here, a little bit more dark in here. Again, just so that this pops a little bit more. If we pull some of those darks in through here a little bit darker, it makes the lights look that much lighter. And I probably would have made... No, you got that. I would just go I would punch up the darks a little bit more so that my lights look that much brighter. But other than that, wow, did you improve on that? I know you're looking for advice, and all I'm sitting here doing is pointing out everything that I love about it. But yeah, I just a couple of areas a little bit darker, and that would be it. That is so well done. Wow. Okay, so I have nothing to help you with other than a little bit dark, and I mean a little bit dark, like not much. Because, wow. Okay. I know this photo came in separate. Let me find it. Of course, the baby bird flies off and we're almost ready for our smart art box, or not smart art box. I'm forever going to call it that, our squawk box. Okay. So we've got another landscape here. And I apologize. I don't mean to make it sound like I'm just kind of dismissing yours. Like, nah, they're good. They're fine. No, they really are. That tree in the middle, maybe tone that down or not have, I probably just wouldn't have included it on the one, but in the reds, like it's funny because when I look at the coal small on the thumbnails, I'm like, yeah, the reds could have been more red. That maybe make those more like bold red. And that I probably would change. And the only reason I can see that, actually, I'm going to pull those back up really quick, because I want to show you what I mean here when they're in thumbnail form and you make them super small. Like, when I look at it big, I love it. If we make it really small though, the only thing I might, and this is iffy, when we make them small, the burning, the red in here could be a little bit more with the reds and the oranges, and then the darks a little bit darker, and that would be about it. That's the white, the light in the background, like yours is better than the photo. Like it looks more real to me. Okay. Yeah, I need to do some lessons on fire. Teresa said, need a lesson on fire. I think you had asked for one before too, and I haven't done it yet. It's on my to-do list. Okay. And then did I get the photos for this one? I lost them. Oh, here we go. Okay, we have, you better not be in his cage. Where are you, baby bird? Hold on, let me make sure he's not in Tuna's cage again. He's being quiet, which makes me think, oh no, you're just eating your veggies. Continue. A big chunk of veggies just fell off his beak. Sorry for accusing you of being your usual badness. Okay. This is from Deb. She said, I think it looks a little plain. Any suggestions? And that's it. I think this is it looks like acrylics. Is that all it says? Let me make sure it didn't say anything in this one. Nope, that was sent separately. Okay. So this is really well done. So a few things. It doesn't say what your goal was. Okay. One of the things we have a tendency to do is to make our skies too blue. So if you're trying to make it more realistic, you can tone that down. However, some of us like really blue skies, and that's okay too. So, it depends on what your goals are. That is not a right or wrong thing, but it's a common thing where people are challenged with trying to get the sky to look more realistic or to get their flowers to look more realistic. They feel that it's too saturated. And in this case, the reference photo has more of a gray, so more black, mostly white, a little bit of black, a little bit of blue is how I would mix that color. However, there is nothing wrong if you like super blue skies. Totally fine too. So I'm just pointing out little things because it doesn't say which is your preference. So well done there. I like that your trees, you did a really good job getting these clumps. First, they're all in the clumps. And one of the mistakes that I often see people make when they make this type of tree is they just polka dot it to death. And you've got these nice clumps and clusters, and we've got those really nice shadows in there. I like the way these are fading out in the background. I like that yours are lighter than the ones in the reference photo. That is a huge improvement. I would probably darken this in here, get that a bit darker, and then pull the dark here a little bit more as well. So if we could get those two areas a little bit darker, and then maybe get this a little bit lighter. Usually this area of the sky, and you can even see that here and here are about the same. We want to do that in this too. If you get this, if you've got that brightness area, maybe brighten it a little bit here and then darken here for more contrast, and it's going to make it look more like water. One of the things when you're making something look like water, if you want it to look wet or shiny, is high contrast. So darken the dark a little bit, make the light a little bit lighter. And then here we've got the shadow is a little bit more shaped on the reference photo. So I think you could do that too. You don't have to. The way you've done it is fine too. But I would like to see this a bit brighter to be closer to the sky, and then this a little bit darker here. It's going to give you a lot more depth. You did a great job on the drawing, the way you're smaller, the way you're coming out here. You didn't do what a lot of people do where it just looks like the road's like going straight up. So your perspective, I'm really happy with that. Now see how your sky, we talked about it being a bit more saturated. You did the same thing with the purple in your mountains, and that is perfect. That is exactly what you want to do. If you're going to play up the saturation on one, do it on the other, and that they fade so well into the background. Now, the reference photo, you've got a little bit lighter at the bottom and it fades up. I like that on a sky where we've got a bit more of a transition versus one solid color. Your clouds are beautiful. I would probably lighten down here a little bit and then let it fade up into the dark. So if it were me, I like the dark blue sky. If I can look around at mine and I go all in with the color. So I'm with you on that. But I would probably lighten this area here a little bit so that it fades up into that color more. And it looks nice on skies. So it's not one flat color. And then I would do the same thing on the water. I would start with it lighter here and then get into the darker blues as we come down. Let's see. I would make these, get a few more, like you've got these lighter ones. I would put a few more light guys in here, the little branches coming up, so that this is more obvious, a little bit dark here by pulling more lights here. And I wouldn't necessarily, like I wouldn't do a ton of extra lights in there, just a little bit. Same thing, might brighten up this area just a little bit, pull some more brights, because right now all of this is kind of the same. We can create more depth if we can get more patches. You've got the start of it. I would hype up the dark, make the darks a little bit darker, make the lights a little bit lighter to create some depth in these up here. I love the backgrounds. I like how it is. This one here though, I would probably mute that even more than what you've got. Right now he's very, very similar in the colors here. I would darken it just a little bit more to push him back to create more depth there. Just a little bit here. And that's about it. The darks here, I think I already mentioned that. I would make the darks more, a lot darker. And even pull lights. The light in the road, I would probably lighten some too. And these are all things that are going to help it to look that much more realistic. But man, your perspective, I am so impressed with, because that is hard. I see a lot of people paint this style of landscape, and it's the perspective is always the hardest part. And I feel like that you've just nailed that. I'm so happy with that. I love your mountains in the distance. There's so much to love about this piece. Really well done. That is nice. Okay. And let's see. Next, we've got Teresa. I actually got to see Teresa work on this in person. Where is it? There's that. Where is the reference? Did I not just save it? Where is it? I've got too many saved to my computer, so now I'm having a hard time finding them. Okay. And this is actually really small. This is not a big piece. This is Bella, our massive, and this is my very first charcoal piece on Inktense MeWe pastel gray paper using General's charcoal, medium pencil, and white charcoal pencil. Photo of the drawing looks really grainy. It doesn't appear that grainy in person. So that's actually for a couple of reasons. One, our cameras want to hype up the detail, especially if you take a photo with your phone. I can't even take photos of my artwork. Like I used to take like in progress photos. Are you in his cage? You little booger, come here. Hold on, I have to catch a bird. Get out of Tuna's cage. You're not a canary. That is his seed. That is not for you. Oh, you're gonna, oh good, now you're gonna wipe the veggies off on me, aren't you? You brat. Okay, stay out of Tuna's cage. So anyway, these, if you take a photo with your phone, and I'm not sure what you took the photo with, but it wants to hype up the detail. So like I'll take a photo of my phone, stop it, a French fry, and it looks so good, so clear. You can see every detail of him eating my necklace, brat, and getting veggies all over my hair. But you can see all the details. It's like it sharpens the details. We don't want it to sharpen the details in our paper and in our paintings. In my phone, it's the Samsung, what is it, S22? It should be, they claim, you know, at the time it was the best camera they had. Yeah, it's hyping up detail. We don't want that in our artwork. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. I used to always use my phones before this one for that. Now, taking photos of my animals, oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful photos for reference, for anything. Except it takes great video. It's doing a better job than my DSLR did for the video. My studio, oh, I just got I had covered in pistachio. You took it with your phone. That's the problem. That's why it's more grainy. I took the photo with my DSLR of the studio tour that I should have up this week. Sunday or so. It looks better on my phone than it does my DSLR. But my phone cannot take snapshots anymore of in progress work because of the same thing you're seeing there. It doesn't look as good. It's hyping up the contrast to make it look more detailed. I don't want to see the detail of the paper. That is the wrong. Try a DSLR. It will look a lot better. And no, you did a great job. Of course, I'm going to say you did a great job. I saw it. I might make the darks a little bit darker in the background so that her head pops a bit more. I like that you did not include her back, her shoulder blades there. That would look very, very weird in the art. And being that is not included, looks much better. So great there. Yeah, I would make the darks a little bit darker. That's all I'm really seeing. Yeah, dark's a little bit darker. Watch when you do a shine on the eye. I don't like that there. Tone that, oops, not that much. I would tone that a little bit down so it's not as, look at me. There, look at the difference of that and the expression when it's that bright. So I would definitely tone that down a bit, but other than that, I like it. You can get your highlights a little bit lighter in a couple of spots. But I always just do this. I start nitpicking the longer I look at things. You guys must cringe when you see me spend so much time looking at something. I'm going to go a little bit lighter, like on her little lip. Some of these areas, I would pull some of the lights up because right now it's almost 3 values. Mid-tone, lightest, darkest. Maybe get a little bit more with the light in a couple of spots. Like she's got a little bit of more highlight there. This area is a lot lighter than that area. So actually, I just showed that. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I'd probably darken that a little bit more. I'm overdoing it because I'm being lazy. But a little bit more with the darks. Hype up. Make your darks a little bit darker. Make some of the lights a little bit lighter. No, I think this is absolutely great. And that's one of my favorite things with charcoal. You can just keep, I didn't make another layer there. You can keep playing with these little details. The paper is going to keep taking it. You're not as likely as with colored pencil to hit that point where it doesn't want to take more layers. You're pretty good with going back and forth as long as you're not pushing hard and damaging it. And if it doesn't want to take more, take your eraser, lift an area and redo it. But great, great work. Dark's a little darker, a little bit more. And again, it's easy for me to do it this size because this is big. I've got it blown up to about an 8 by 10. In person, what was it, a 5 by 7? It's little. I don't even know if it's a 5. Yeah, I think it was about a 5 by 7. It's little in person. So to get this much detail that small, really well done. But yeah, I'd go a little bit darker on some of those darks, a little bit lighter on some of the lights, so you get more variation there. Okay. Next. Let me pull this up. Are you in his cage again? You little brat, come here. What did I tell you? You know you're not supposed to be in there. Come here. You cannot have his seed. You have your own. Booger. He's like, that's not when you call me when you're off camera. The normal word is little S word. Huh. It's very accurate. I was afraid because I call him that so often that I was going to accidentally be swearing in the video, but I've done pretty good not doing that. Okay, this one is from Dina. Don't you you're trying to get down because you're going to go back into his cage and steal his seed, huh? Let's see. I did this with colored pencil over pan pastel and pastel mat. The portrait is a fan art of Farah from Magnificent Century. I don't know what that is. It doesn't say what your goals are. Beep. Well done. Now the expression, portraits are so hard because if the eyes are open just a little bit, you end up changing the expression a bit. So a couple things. One, right now, like her, look at how much softer her expression is in this one versus this. Stop. What? A couple of things that you can do to help with this. Her eye is, you've got the whites of her eye are white all the way through. Look at the actual baby bird. You are not helping right now. Stop. Where is that? There we go. Okay, so that is the white of her eye versus yours is a lot lighter. By darkening that up, you're going to make a huge difference. And which brush do I have? You will work. We want to darken that up a lot, and especially right under the upper eyelid. This is a bit too harsh, but it just doing that will completely soften the expression. You're always going to, and I'm not doing a good job, but you get the idea. Same thing. We're going to darken the whites of the eyes. We don't want the whites of the eyes to actually be white. The shine of the eye will be white. The actual white of the eye, not white. It's going to be in colored pencil, like mortem. It'll be a lot of the same colors you're using in the skin tones and grayish tones, but not white. And then we've got a few things. I mean, we can always work on, the shape. We've got some shape issues going on with the shadows. Like this shadow being, let's enlarge this a bit. This shadow, that nostril needs to round off a little bit. That's like little things. There's little adjustments we can make that are going to change. Like right now, the white, this area on her nose is so wide, and it shouldn't be. There's a shadow that needs to come here. And then the shadow, I'm just going to go because yours is a bit darker. So let's use that same one that you've got. This needs to come in more, and it's changing her nose. Like these little things. We come down a little bit more in here, but up here it's more rounded. So look at the difference in her expression in her face, just changing a few little things. What I recommend doing when you're working, flip your reference photo and flip the artwork upside down. You will notice things you did not notice before. It makes it actually, don't you go in his cage. Let me do that and put these side by side. You did a great job. I love so much about this. The darks in her hair can be a lot darker for sure. That'll help. But let's do this. Image. Which one? This one? This one? I always get that backwards because I have a layer on there. I hear you, and you better not be in that cage again, and I'm pretty sure that's the sound I'm hearing. Okay, we're closing the door. We're done with that. Come here. Tuna, are you staying in there? Because I'm closing your door. There. Stop it. You can't be in his cage. Okay. Flipping this one. When you flip them upside down and put them side by side, try to get the size semi-close. You will notice so much more. Look at right now. First thing, hair, the darks need to be darker, the lights need to be lighter, but there's a lot of the dark we want to get in there. The shine on her earring, we need to get the darks. Yours is more defined. Soften that up. I would definitely soften it because right now it just looks like a pattern. It doesn't look like a crystal. I would make the whole thing that medium gray color. It's very similar to the gray in her neck. And then put the 2 dots of the shine. It's just little dots. Let's see. We've got completely different shapes here. Oops, that's not what I need. Let's do this. Look at the shape here versus here. Like it's a different angle. Oops, that's not wanting to behave, but whatever, you get the idea. Those shapes are different. Yours is a lot longer right here. And this is getting nitpicky, but these are the things you want to do with a portrait. I always flip my portraits upside down because you, like, seriously, I'll think I'm done and I'll put them together side by side and go, oh, that's a lot of things I want to change. You'll notice so much more. I like that you hyped up some of the contrast. I think that that has a very painterly, very pretty look. The brights being a bit brighter, I really do like that. I would tone down the brights in the ear though. I don't necessarily want my attention drawn there. So that, the ears, I may mute a bit or darken up just a bit. Same thing, her necklace here. I would not try to define it as well as you did. I would have it all as a more, like a softer transition there and just dots for the shine. Because I think you forced, some of these almost look like little flower petals. Like you've got shapes that don't quite, it doesn't look like the sparkly jewels like I think it could if we softened that down and just had that super high contrast there. The highlights are really just a cluster of dots. I would darken the shadow right here. All of this, like that gets darker, the hair gets darker, that stays light. You could actually make that a little bit lighter there. Your green is a more saturated green, not a bad thing. It works, it's very pretty, but I would get the shadows, the values down. I'm getting really nitpicky because I actually like your lips better than the photo. I think that look came out way better the way the lighting is. I love that. Yours, you hyped up the contrast a little bit more and I like it a lot. Yeah, just minor things. Nothing super major. But those little things will completely change the expression and soften it. The whites of the eye is a big one. It's nicely done. And then let me make sure, let's see. I think one more came in. Yeah, I've got one more that came in. Okay, it's 10. I'm going to go ahead and do this really quick. And I'm going to push it. I'm going to do the smart art, or not the smart art box, the bird box now, because I just really want to open the box. And I don't want to wait till next week to give my birds new toys. It'll be quick. Okay, let's do this really quick. And this one's actually super easy. This one is from Marie. Here's a Pixabay rose, pink rose I'm doing on sanded paper and pastels. Would love your input on. Okay, so work in progress is I don't do, but I'm going to tell you right now, hype up the contrast. So these aren't work in progress critiques. They're finished critiques. Keep working on that contrast. Your darks need to be darker. White's a little bit lighter. Dark's darker. That is my tip. And dark pink. So that is when submitted again when we have the finished critiques, but that is what needs to happen right now. I can't really critique what's in progress because it's like it's not done yet. So yeah, that's why we go with those. So really quickly, let's open this because I want, and now French fries are not even over here. Let's see. So these are the Squawk Box, and I've got an affiliate link in the video description if you would like to order one for your birds. Let me pull this up. There. So Squawk Box. So let's see what came in this one. No, the time. Oh, it's still taped up. The time is already 10, so we will do this quickly. I need some, this should work. Come here. Of course I don't have scissors in here. Why would I have something convenient? Okay. Winter Wonderland is the theme for this one. So we've got the Talon treats this time. Coconut buckwheat. Oh, that's interesting. Coconut and buckwheat. Huh. They have these little, oh, it's little coconut shreds. Oh, these are good sizes. I'm curious to see if French Fry likes these. French Fry, come here. If you come over here, you can try a treat. I don't know what you're eating right now, but I've got something else to see if you'll eat. Take it. I'm going to go get him. Let's see. He'll fly away as soon as I touch the other toys, but let's see if he got, you opened the door. I thought you were safe. You opened his door. You little bugger. That's not the word I want to call you. No, that's not your name, huh? He's like, my name starts with an S. Come here. Bad tiny bird. Okay, do you want to try one of these? I don't know if you'll eat this. Oops, and I'll just throw it on the floor. I definitely need to vacuum after this. There's pistachio, and now this all over. You want to try this? Let's see. You want to try it? You going to try? Oh, he's actually eating it. Okay, these might be a good one for training. We're starting clicker training this week. Well, we've already started it. So I need the little treats to work with. And these are easier. I've been using pistachio is hard because he tries taking the whole thing. And he stole one today and was flying around the whole room with a big old pistachio hanging onto it out in his beak. I had to catch it so I could take it away because that is too much pistachio for him. But I've also got these sesame seeds, but they're super tiny. Oh, I like this. You want another one? This is a good size. You want one? It's not a pistachio, but it's a good size. It's small, but not as small as a sesame. So, yay! Okay, Talon treats are a fan this time. We've got... This looks more like a fall one. Oh, it's a fire. That's what they're thinking with winter. We've got, oh, this is definitely going to Loki because I think he's going to have fun shredding whatever these little wood things are. So that one, or chicken might too. I don't know. We've got a pine cone toy. I think chicken had a pine cone that he used. Oh, no, I think it had food on it, though. That's probably why he liked it. We have a boot. Oh, that's cute. I like the size of these. So they come in different sizes depending on the size of bird you have. They say for medium-sized birds like conures, ringnecks to go with the size up. I would not. This is all the smallest size, and I think they're perfect for the ringnecks. So I would not get the bigger one if you've got a conure or similar size. Oh, they're going to love this. French fry and nugget love, love, love this stuff that I'm already knocking all over. So I don't know what this is supposed to be. A picnic basket? Did it tell me? It said Winter Wonderland. I don't even know how these don't seem wintry to me, but this is apparent. Oh, they're supposed to be little skis. Apparently this is a ski lodge. I don't know. The birds are going to love shredding that though, so it doesn't matter. Oh, this one's an ice skate. Okay, so it works if you look at the directions. Oh, the bottom is supposed to be the bottom part of the skate. I see. So there's an ice skate. And what were the other ones? I don't even know. Was that one a campfire? It doesn't say. I don't have a page for the other one. Anyway. Do I not? That's weird. Fun. Yay, it's late. It's been a really long day. We're going to wrap this up. Do you want another treat before we go? Yes, they are My Little Ponies behind me. They're a whole cake. There we go. A few years back, like, was it 2019, I think it was? Here we go. They came out with the retro ponies, and they were like at Targets and Walmart. And so they're all the old ones. Don't drop it if I stand up. I'll show you guys. Like, these are ones I had. Some of these are the ones I had as kids. So I had to, God, this one would have been like my oldest one. I even love how they smell. They smell like new ponies. This was like the one, my oldest, I think that was like my first pony. No, this wouldn't have been my first one, but it was the one I remember the most. So yeah, when I was a kid, I had, mine was not this clean, that's for sure. But yeah, they're all the, God, I could just sit here and smell them. They smell like they just came out of the box. I've got a whole collection of them back there. Most of the ones I collected were the ones that I had as a kid. Oh, I can't get to her easily, but there's one that's just like, wow, memories. Anyway, yes, ponies. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope this helped. I can't believe we got through all of the critiques in one night, so yay. And I apologize, I kind of feel bad for not like doing a critique on the one that wasn't done. I'll show you guys if you want to see what I was talking about, but that is the critique. Again, it's a work in progress. We don't do work in progress for these ones, but the only advice is pretty easy. It's just, whoops, like you guys would know. You'll see it and you'll know what I'm talking about. It just hype up the contrast. Where are we? Oops, that is not where that is. Where'd the artwork go? I lost it. There it is. So here's our reference photo. Contrast, dark's darker. Shapes are fine, dark's darker. That is my what needs to happen there. Yep, dark's darker. Okay, that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you to our moderators. Links for their channels are in the video description. Where is it? Are in the video description. Is that it? Joseph live streams every week. Link is there. Definitely check him out, except when he hurts himself. Is that it? I don't know. Again, very long day. So my brain has not been here. I'm amazed we got through this. I will see you guys next week. leave a comment if you have suggestions for what you want to see me paint or draw next week. And I think that I don't know where my stuff is. There it is. Yeah, no, that one. There we go. We'll see you next week. Bye.